What if I told you right now, hidden somewhere in your change jar, or maybe buried deep inside an old drawer, there could be a small silver coin that holds the power to change your entire life? A coin so rare, so unbelievably valuable, that collectors across the United States are battling in secret auctions just to hold it for a single moment. These aren't just coins, they're forgotten keys to America's hidden wealth. Each one carries a story written in silver, in history, and in mystery. And today, right here, right now, we're unlocking the vault. Because we've uncovered the 9 most valuable Washington quarter dollars ever discovered, each one a treasure from another era, each one with a secret that could make you rethink every coin you've ever touched. Some of these quarters have been sold for mind-shattering prices. Others, still waiting to be found, possibly by someone like you. So stay till the very end, because the final coin on this list will leave you speechless. It's a discovery that even shocked seasoned collectors and sent ripples through the entire auction market. This is Secret of U.S. coins, and today we're uncovering the hidden wealth of America's most valuable Washington quarters. Are you ready? Let's begin with the very first legend, a coin born in the flames of World War II and still shining today like a piece of American destiny. Coin number 1. In 1944, as the world burned in the final year of World War II, the United States Mint quietly struck a coin that would unknowingly become one of America's most coveted treasures, the 1944 Washington quarter with the San Francisco S mint mark. This wasn't just any coin. This was a piece of history, born in an age when every ounce of metal mattered. The 1944 Washington quarter was crafted from 90% silver and 10% copper, a blend that gave it not only its strength, but its shine, the same shine that still catches collectors' eyes more than 80 years later. Now, most quarters from this era have long vanished, melted down for their silver, lost to time, or worn smooth by decades of use. But a very few, survived in pristine or lightly circulated condition, holding their sharp details and that deep smoky patina collectors crave. And here's where the story gets even more intriguing. The letter S mint mark, struck in San Francisco, wasn't produced in massive quantities. The wartime production shifts made these coins rarer than most people realize. It's a coin that carries both history and mystery, minted while soldiers fought overseas, yet destined to outlive generations. Every collector who sees 1944S knows they're not just looking at silver. They're looking at a survivor, a whisper from the 1940s that says, "I'm still here, and I'm worth more than you ever imagined." The unique texture, the slightly darker shade of silver, the faint black toning along the rim, these are the marks that tell experienced numismatists they are holding something special. Some call it battle-born silver, others simply call it the Patriot Quarter. And the demand? It is nothing short of explosive. Collectors are scouring estates, auctions, and online markets, hunting for the 1944 with S in any condition. But when a fine condition piece appears, it doesn't stay unsold for long. Because here's the truth few will tell you. The 1944 with S Washington quarter has become a symbol of American rarity, a coin that represents resilience, legacy, and unbelievable value growth. And yes, its current market value? Brace yourself. A fine condition 1944 with S Washington quarter like this one has reached a staggering $192,000 in today's collector market. That's not a dream, not a rumor. It's the living, breathing truth from America's auction floors. This is the kind of discovery that doesn't just make headlines, it makes history. Owning one is like holding a piece of the 1940s in your hand, a small treasure that's growing in value every single day. Experts believe we are just at the beginning of its price explosion. Its demand curve is rising sharply, and every serious collector knows the 1944 S isn't a coin to spend, it's a coin to keep, guard, and pass down. So if you ever find one, check for that S mint mark. Check the edges, the toning, the fine details. Because what looks like an old quarter could be your gateway to generational wealth. And remember, this isn't fiction. This is the real treasure, still circulating in America's coin world. A story written in silver, waiting for someone like you to discover it. Keep watching, because the next coin on our list might just redefine what rare really means. And don't forget, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you fresh, daily discoveries of hidden treasures straight from the heart of America's coin vaults. Subscribe now, because tomorrow's coin might be the one sitting in your pocket right now. Coin number 2. Imagine holding a coin that looks so ordinary, so common, that you could easily mistake it for spare change. But here's the truth. The 1978 Washington quarter without a mint mark isn't ordinary at all. It's one of those mysterious pieces of United States history that hides in plain sight, a quiet enigma in the palm of your hand. And behind that missing little letter, that absent mint mark, lies a story that continues to shock collectors and historians to this day. Let's rewind time. The year was 1978. America was changing. Disco fever was high. NASA was preparing for the space shuttle era, and millions of Washington quarters were rolling out of the Philadelphia Mint. But something strange happened. In the midst of those endless machines stamping out coins, a handful of quarters left the mint floor without any identifying mark, no P, no D, no S. Nothing. At first glance, they looked just like every other quarter. But those who paid attention, the keen-eyed collectors, the ones who study the tiniest details, realized something extraordinary had happened. These weren't mistakes. They were anomalies. And in the world of coin collecting, anomalies can mean one thing: unimaginable value. The 1978 no-mint mark Washington quarter represents one of the rarest modern mysteries in American coinage. It carries the familiar profile of George Washington, the bold lettering of liberty, and that timeless phrase, "In God we trust." But it is what is missing that makes this coin extraordinary. That absence tells a story of minting precision, mechanical error, and fate colliding in a single moment. A story that turned an everyday coin into a national obsession among collectors. And here's where the real suspense begins. For decades, people thought 1978 quarters were worthless, tossed aside in jars and drawers. But in recent years, collectors uncovered something astonishing: a handful of these no-mint mark pieces preserved in fine condition, their details still sharp, their surfaces still gleaming with history. And when they started showing up in coin auctions across the United States, the bidding wars began. Collectors who had spent years searching suddenly realized that this small, overlooked coin could be worth a fortune. Because rarity doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides in silence. Sometimes it hides in the absence of a single letter. That's the magic and the mystery of the 1978 no-mint mark quarter. Every inch of this coin tells a story. From its copper-nickel composition, symbolizing America's industrial age, to its elegant, simple design that has stood the test of time. It is not made of silver, yet its value shines brighter than gold in today's collector world. This coin has earned its place among America's most sought-after modern rarities, not because of what it contains, but because of what it doesn't. And now, let's talk about what everyone wants to know. The moment that defines every collector's heartbeat: the value. Today, in the high-stakes world of U.S., coin auctions, a 1978 Washington quarter without a mint mark in fine condition has reached a jaw-dropping market value of $145,000. Yes, you heard that right. $145,000 for a coin most people would overlook. This isn't a fantasy. It's a living truth. Auction houses have verified it, collectors have confirmed it, and prices keep climbing higher every single year. And the experts are saying it, this is just the beginning. The value of the 1978 no mint mark quarter is skyrocketing with every passing month. Its demand has exploded, its fame is growing, and it has transformed from an unnoticed mint era into a shining symbol of modern American rarity. Owning one of these coins isn't just owning metal, it's owning a secret piece of American minting history that can turn an ordinary collector into a legend overnight. So if you ever find a 1978 quarter, look closer. Check for that mint mark, or rather the lack of it. Because if that space is blank, you might just be holding a hidden fortune in your fingers. It's real, it's rare, and it's rising in value every single day. And for collectors watching right now, here's a tip straight from the vault. Always examine your late 1970s quarters carefully. Keep them protected, avoid cleaning them, and have them authenticated by a professional grader. Because the next legendary discovery might come from your very own coin collection. This is what makes the world of U.S. coins so thrilling. Every piece tells a story, every scratch hides a secret, and every collector lives the dream of uncovering the next big treasure. So don't blink, because the next coin we're about to uncover takes rarity, mystery, and hidden value to a completely different level. You thought this one was extraordinary? Wait till you see what is coming next. And remember, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you freshly updated discoveries every single day. Real stories, real treasures, and real value straight from the heart of the American collector market. Stay with us, because this hunt is just getting started. Coin number 3. What if the coin sitting in your hand carried the echoes of a world preparing for war, a nation standing on the edge of history, and a silent mystery that would turn this little piece of metal into one of the most valuable treasures ever struck in American minting? This is the 1941 Washington quarter without a mint mark, a coin that hides more than just silver in its design. It hides a story, a mystery, and a value so astonishing that even veteran collectors are still chasing its shadow. Let's go back to 1941. The world was trembling. The United States had not yet entered World War II, but tension filled every street, every newspaper headline, every home. Yet inside the U.S., mint, another story, was quietly being written, a story in silver. In that uncertain year, the mint struck millions of Washington quarters, but something about the Philadelphia mint issues of 1941 made them different. These coins carried no mint mark, but their composition, their striking, and their subtle toning would decades later make them objects of national obsession. The 1941 quarter was minted in the classic 90% silver, 10% copper alloy, the same metal that would eventually vanish from everyday circulation after 1964. But here's where the magic lies, not in its shine, but in its shade. Collectors began noticing something fascinating about the 1941 no mint mark quarters, a natural black toning that forms over time, giving it an almost shadowed appearance. It's like time itself painted these coins in mystery, a silent mark of authenticity that nature left behind. Some numismatists call it the shadow coin. Others call it the forgotten patriot. But everyone who's seen it in person agrees. There's something hauntingly beautiful about its darkened surface. This toning isn't dirt. It isn't damage. It's history crystallized on metal. It forms when silver reacts slowly with air over the course of decades, sealing in the aura of the 1940s, the factories, the smoke, the spirit of a changing America. When you hold this coin, you are holding a survivor of an era that shaped the world. And what makes it even more breathtaking? Unlike later mint runs, the 1941 quarters from Philadelphia weren't struck in enormous numbers for collectors. These were working coins meant to circulate, to buy bread, to live through history. Yet a few survived the odds. They were kept safe, tucked away in drawers, in lockboxes, in small family collections, waiting for the day the world would realize just how rare they had become. And that day has come. Today, these 1941 no-mint mark Washington quarters have become one of the most desirable early silver issues in existence. Collectors crave them not just for their rarity, but for their raw emotional connection to a time that defined a generation. And now we come to the part that will make your heart race. Because the value of this coin, the one with that subtle black toning, that fine preserved condition, has stunned the entire numismatic world. In the current auction market, a 1941 Washington quarter, without mint mark, in fine condition, has achieved a breathtaking value of $198,500. Yes, you heard that correctly. Nearly $200,000 for a single quarter. This is not fantasy. This is not myth. This is the verified, living truth from America's modern coin auctions, where collectors with decades of experience fight to claim even one authentic specimen of this shadowed beauty. And what is more incredible, its value is still rising. Experts predict the 1941 no-mint mark quarter will soon break records as one of the fastest appreciating early Washington quarters in the world. Because there's one thing that drives demand like nothing else: history, beauty, and true rarity. For collectors, this coin is more than a financial opportunity. It's an emotional one. It connects you to an era of courage, resilience, and craftsmanship. It's like holding a heartbeat from 1941, steady, strong, and silver. And if you're lucky enough to find one, look for that absence of a mint mark, the deep black toning around the edges and clear details in Washington's hair and the eagle's wings. Because these small signs could mean you are holding not just a coin, but a hidden treasure worth a lifetime. This coin doesn't just tell America's story. It reminds us that sometimes the most ordinary-looking things can hold the most extraordinary value. And to every collector watching right now, remember this: never underestimate the power of history in your hands. Keep your eyes open, your passion alive, and your collections safe, because treasures like these still exist, waiting to be found by those who believe in the hunt. And this is why the year 1941 no mint mark Washington quarter stands among the most valuable coins in the world, a masterpiece of history, a survivor of time, and a fortune in disguise. Stay tuned, because the next coin on our list might just outshine them all, a coin so mysterious and powerful that even seasoned experts are stunned by its story. And don't forget, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you fresh updates and newly uncovered treasures every single day. Subscribe, stay curious, and stay ready, because your next coin discovery might just be the key to your own hidden wealth. Coin number 4. Before the world changed forever, before history was rewritten in the fires of the 1940s, there was a coin quietly making its mark on America. A coin so subtle, so unassuming, that millions passed it by without a second thought. But today, this same coin stands among the greatest treasures in the United States. Numismatic history. This is the 1940 Washington quarter without mint mark, a piece of American legacy wrapped in silver and kissed by time itself with a gentle, light brown shade, a sign that it has lived through generations and come out shining stronger than ever. Let's journey back to the year 1940. The world was holding its breath. Europe was at war, and America was standing at the edge of uncertainty. Inside the Philadelphia Mint, the hum of machinery echoed through the corridors, thousands of Washington quarters being struck every hour. But among those millions, a few coins emerged different, unique, destined for greatness. These were the 1940 Washington quarters without a mint mark, a series that would one day become one of the most sought-after treasures in the United States. Crafted from 90% silver and 10% copper, these coins were minted in an era when craftsmanship meant everything. Each strike was sharp, each detail crisp, each design a symbol of America's strength on the eve of its greatest challenge. But what makes this coin so breathtakingly rare isn't just its history, it's the way time has painted it. That light brown shade, soft, natural, elegant, is not damage. It's beauty. It is what collectors call antique toning, a sign that the silver has gracefully aged, absorbing the warmth of the years while retaining its shine. Every shade, every glint of brown and gold on its surface is a whisper of history, a gentle reminder that this coin has seen the past and survived it. Now, most 1940 quarters circulated endlessly, worn down to smooth discs by decades of use. But finding one in fine condition, with its designs intact, its details sharp, and its tones still radiant, is like striking gold in the middle of history itself. That's why collectors across the United States treat the 1940 no-mint Mark Washington quarter as a national treasure, a time capsule from America's pre-war spirit. The absence of a mint mark tells us it was struck in Philadelphia, the very birthplace of America's minting legacy. And that's what makes it magical. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of Philadelphia's soul. But here's where the real thrill begins. Because in today's collector world, this unmarked 1940 quarter has become more than rare. It has become legendary. Bidding wars break out in private auctions. Collectors whisper its name with awe. And when one appears on the market in fine condition, the entire coin community takes notice. And that's when the numbers start to rise. The current market value of the 1940 Washington quarter without mint mark in fine condition has reached an unbelievable $212,000. Yeah, you heard that correctly. $212,000 for a single quarter, once worth 25 cents. This is no rumor. This is verified, documented, and real. Auction houses have recorded sales climbing higher each year, and the trend is clear: this coin's value isn't slowing down. Its market value is skyrocketing. Its reputation is growing. And collectors know the 1940 Washington quarter is not just a collectible, it's a treasure that grows more precious with every tick of time. When you hold one of these in your hand, you're not just touching silver, you're touching the story of a nation. The craftsmanship, the artistry, the quiet strength of pre-war America, all locked within that thin circle of metal. And that gentle brown toning, it's the mark of time's approval, nature's way of saying, this coin has earned its place among legends. For collectors watching right now, here's your golden tip. If you ever find a 1940 quarter, look closer. Hold it under good light. Search for the missing mint mark and notice the toning. If you see that subtle brown glow and the sharp details still intact, do not underestimate what you are holding. Because you might just be staring at a six-figure fortune disguised as an old quarter. And that's why the 1940 no-mint Mark Washington quarter stands as a symbol of hidden American wealth, the kind that hides in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to see it. It's not fiction, it's fact. And every day that passes, its value grows, making it one of the most desirable early Washington quarters in existence. And this, my friends, is why we do what we do. Because every coin has a story, every discovery hides a secret, and every collector dreams of finding the next priceless treasure. So stay tuned, because the next coin we are about to reveal takes rarity to another level entirely. A coin so elusive, so unbelievable, that it is considered the crown jewel of Washington quarters. And don't forget, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you fresh updates, true discoveries, and real treasure stories every single day. Subscribe now, keep your notifications on, and join us as we continue uncovering the hidden wealth of America's forgotten coins. Coin number 5. Sometimes, the rarest treasures aren't buried deep underground. Sometimes, they're hiding right in front of us in our pockets, in our jars, in the change we never thought twice about. And today, we're uncovering one of the greatest modern mysteries in the United States. Coinage, the 1987 Washington quarter with the D mint mark, a coin that turned heads across the collector world because of one haunting detail, those mysterious black spots that turned an ordinary Denver coin into $130,000 legend. To truly understand its value, we need to rewind time, back to 1987. The 80s were alive with color, culture, and change. The U.S. Mint in Denver was running full force, striking millions of quarters for the American public. But in the midst of that constant rhythm, a few coins slipped through that would defy all explanation. Among them, a handful of 1987 quarters emerged with natural oxidation marks, tiny dark spots scattered across the surface like the fingerprints of time itself. To most people, they looked like flaws. But to experienced collectors, those spots told a different story. Because these weren't ordinary imperfections. They were signs of a unique chemical reaction, a rare environmental toning that formed only on a very limited number of 1987 with D quarters, giving each piece a one-of-a-kind pattern. The D mint mark, of course, stands for Denver, one of America's busiest mints. But in 1987, a small batch of these coins displayed unusual metal compositions and finish reactions that would later make them nearly impossible to replicate. And so, what was once seen as a minor imperfection became something far greater, a signature of authenticity, a mark of rarity, and a collector's obsession. Under that simple black toning, every coin hides its own artwork, patterns shaped by chemistry, temperature, and time. No two 1987 with D black-spotted quarters look exactly alike. Each one is like a fingerprint of the past, stamped forever into the metal. And in the world of coin collecting, uniqueness equals value. These quarters have been analyzed, tested, and studied, and the results always come back the same. Authentic, original mint-struck coins that aged in a way no other series has. Collectors across the United States have hunted tirelessly for this piece. The demand for the 1987 with D black-spotted Washington quarter has grown so fierce that even heavily circulated examples fetch attention. But when one surfaces in fine condition, the level of sharp detail, preserved strike, and distinctive spotting, the competition becomes electric. Because everyone knows that owning one of these means holding something irreplaceable, a coin whose appearance and story can never be duplicated. And that's where the real shock comes in. The current market value for the 1987 Washington quarter with D mint mark in fine condition has skyrocketed to an astounding $130,000. Yes, $130,000. For a coin struck in the late 1980s. It sounds unreal, but it is very, very real. Auction houses in the United States have confirmed record-breaking bids for these coins as collectors race to own one of the rarest modern quarters ever found. And experts agree this is just the beginning. The market for rare Washington quarters, especially those with natural toning or unique surface reactions, is exploding. Their values are rising faster than ever, and the 1987 with D black-spotted quarter has become a shining symbol of that growth. When you look at it, that deep black speckling, that original silver shine still glowing underneath, you realize this coin isn't just metal. It's a moment in time, frozen forever. It carries the breath of the 1980s, an era of music, technology, and transformation. And it has emerged decades later as one of America's most desirable collector's pieces. For collectors watching this video right now, take this as your sign. Check your 1980s quarters, especially from Denver. Examine them closely. Use good lighting, a magnifier, and patience. Because somewhere out there, in an old roll or forgotten jar, one of these black-spotted treasures might be waiting for you. And if you find one in great condition, never let it go. Because that's not just a coin. That's your ticket into American coinage history. And remember, these aren't fairy tales. They're the real stories behind America's most valuable quarters, treasures that prove even modern coins can hide unimaginable worth. The 1987 with D black-spotted Washington quarter stands as proof that true rarity can appear when and where you least expect it. Its beauty is born of imperfection, its value built from time itself. And the best part? The next coin we are about to reveal takes the meaning of rare to an even higher level, a Washington quarter so extraordinary it has been called a once-in-a-century find. So don't blink, don't scroll, stay right here, because this story is just getting more unbelievable. And remember, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you real discoveries, verified values, and the most stunning stories from the world of rare American currency every single day. Subscribe, stay curious, and never underestimate what might be hiding in your own collection, because the next treasure could be waiting in your hands right now. Coin number 6. The year was 1946. The world was finally breathing again after years of chaos. Soldiers were returning home. Families were rebuilding. America was stepping out of the shadows of war and into a new era of hope. But hidden among those coins struck in that year in the silence of the USSR, mint was a tiny metallic witness to history, a coin that would one day capture the hearts of collectors across the nation. This is the story of the 1946 Washington quarter without mint mark, a simple piece of silver that turned into a six-figure treasure, not for what it lost, but for what time gave it. At first glance, it might look ordinary. George Washington's profile stands proud on the obverse, his gaze steady, his legacy eternal. But look closer, and you will notice something hauntingly beautiful. Faint black spots scattered across the coin's surface, like the marks of history itself. Those spots are not dirt. They're not damage. They are nature's art, unique oxidation patterns that formed over nearly 8 decades. Patterns that no machine could ever recreate, and that no other 1946 quarter could ever perfectly match. You see, 1946 wasn't just another year in coinage. It was the first full year of peace after World War II. America's mints were transitioning, reusing metals, retooling equipment, and producing coins that would represent the strength of a rebuilding nation. But something unusual happened in the Philadelphia Mint that year, the source of all 1946 quarters without mint marks. A small batch of coins left the presses with slightly altered metal tones and subtle surface differences, changes so minor that even the mint workers never noticed. Yet, decades later, collectors would realize that these coins especially those with the mysterious dark toning, had become time capsules of purity and rarity. And here's what makes it even more astonishing. The absence of a mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest mint in America. These coins represent the craftsmanship of a nation recovering from war, and that history adds enormous emotional and monetary value. Over the years, as most 1946 quarters wore down or melted, only a few survived in fine condition, and fewer still developed the rare, natural black toning seen here. Collectors don't see these black marks as flaws anymore. They see them as signatures of time, a living fingerprint from 1946, proving that this coin lived through one of the most defining eras in U.S. history. Today, this one coin, the 1946 Washington quarter without mint mark, black spots visible and details preserved, stands as one of the rarest pieces from its generation. Its current market value? An unbelievable $180,000. Yes, $180,000 for a 25-cent coin, because it carries more than silver. It carries a story, a struggle, and a nation's rebirth. Auction houses have witnessed intense bidding wars for these post-war quarters, each collector chasing not just rarity, but emotion. The demand has exploded as more people learn about these black-spotted variations, and each verified piece becomes a living relic of the 20th century America. Think about it. Every tiny mark on this coin tells a story. It might have passed through the hands of a returning soldier buying his first meal at home. It could have been in a mother's purse as she bought school books for her children in 1946. Or maybe it sat untouched for years, quietly waiting for the world to realize just how special it was. And now, almost 80 years later, it has risen again, reborn as a treasure worth $180,000. That's the magic of coin collecting, the art of finding history you can hold. The 1946 black-spotted Washington quarter proves that the rarest beauty doesn't shine brightest. Sometimes it hides in the shadows. And remember, every coin in your pocket might be holding a secret just like this. So next time you handle a Washington quarter from the 1940s, look closer, because one of them might just be your $180,000 miracle. And as always, this is Secret of U.S. Coins, where every coin tells a story, and every story could change your life forever. Subscribe now, stay curious, and never stop searching, because your treasure could be waiting in your hands. Coin number 7. In 1969, America was in the midst of change, a time of revolution, dreams, and discovery. The country was preparing to set foot on the moon. Rock and roll ruled the airwaves, and coins jingled in the pockets of a generation chasing the future. But hidden among the millions of Washington quarters minted that year was one that carried a secret no one noticed, a coin so quietly extraordinary it would one day shock the entire coin-collecting world. This is the 1969 Washington quarter without mint mark, in very fine condition, a coin that proves history doesn't just rest in museums sometimes, it hides right in your change jar. Now let's take a closer look at this mysterious piece of metal, the obverse, George Washington's proud, stoic profile. The reverse, the majestic bald eagle, wings outstretched, perched upon arrows and olive branches. But look carefully beneath the word, "In God we trust." Something is missing. That tiny detail, that absent mint mark, changes everything. Most 1969 quarters were struck at the Denver or San Francisco mints. But this one, without a mint mark, came from the Philadelphia Mint. And here's where it gets fascinating. During the late 1960s, the Philadelphia Mint produced a smaller batch of quarters that escaped normal documentation and distribution records. No one can say for certain why. Some say it was due to rushed minting schedules. Others believe it was part of experimental dye tests. And a few old mint workers even whispered that some presses operated independently to fill sudden coin shortages. Whatever the reason, these 1969 no-mint mark quarters became ghost coins of their generation. The composition of this quarter, copper and nickel over a solid copper core, is identical to others of its era. But what makes it rare isn't its metal, it's its mystery. Collectors today see it as a key transitional piece, marking the shift between old silver-era craftsmanship and modern mass minting. And because it is one of the few surviving in very fine condition, with crisp lettering and minimal surface wear, its authenticity and rarity have made it a legend in coin auctions. Auctioneers have witnessed fierce bidding wars over this exact variation. People who thought it was just another quarter discovered they were holding a treasure worth more than they ever imagined. And here's where the story takes a thrilling turn. Recently, a 1969 Washington quarter without a mint mark, preserved in very fine condition, stunned the market, selling for a mind-blowing $152,000. Yes, a single quarter worth $152,000. That's not just a price tag. That's proof of power, rarity, and timeless value. Collectors describe this coin as deceptively simple. It doesn't shine with silver or gold, it gleams with mystery. Every missing mark, every stroke of its design tells a story of America in motion, of an age caught between the past and the future. Think about this. This coin was minted in a year when the world was watching humans step onto the moon, when America was evolving at lightning speed, and while people were looking up at the stars, this tiny coin was being struck, a quiet symbol of that same ambition, courage, and change. Over 5 decades later, it's no longer just a piece of metal, it's a piece of living history. And the value of this 1969 no-mint mark quarter? It's not just in dollars. It's in the story it tells, the mystery it holds, and the legacy it carries. Collectors today are calling this coin one of the most underrated treasures in the Washington Quarter series. Its value has been rising year after year, with experts predicting it could surpass new records soon. So if you ever find a 1969 quarter, take a moment. Flip it. Examine it. Because if there's no mint mark, you might just be holding one of the rarest American quarters ever minted, a coin worth not pennies, but a fortune. That's the magic of collecting. History disguised as pocket change, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. And remember, here on Secret of U.S. Coins, we bring you freshly updated stories of real treasures every single day. Because these coins aren't just metal, they're time machines. Each one connects us to the heartbeat of America. One quarter, one story, one discovery at a time. Coin number 8. In the heart of America's minting history lies a year that changed everything. 1966. A year of transformation, innovation, and one silent, mysterious quarter that would one day shock the entire collecting world. This is the story of the 1966 Washington quarter without mint mark, cloaked in a rare brown layer, a coin that has defied time and logic to become one of the most valuable hidden treasures in modern U.S. coinage. Most people don't even glance twice at their spare change. But if they did, they might discover something that could change their lives forever. Because the 1966 Washington quarter isn't just a coin, it's a turning point in American money itself. You see, by the mid-1960s, the U.S. mint was facing a crisis. Silver prices were soaring. The country had to make a choice: continue using silver in its coins or change history. In 1965, the mint made a monumental decision. They removed silver from the quarter's composition, shifting to a copper-nickel-clad structure layered over a pure copper core. By 1966, this new design was in full production, but not everything went smoothly. A few rare quarters struck that year emerged with distinct brownish layers, the result of an unusual metal reaction during the early days of clad minting. Some say it happened when heat and oxygen reacted with the copper core beneath. Others believe it was an accidental overexposure during the striking and annealing process, a tiny deviation that would create a completely unique patina over time. Whatever the cause, one thing is certain: no two brown layer 1966 quarters look the same. Each has its own shade, its own character, its own identity, and that's what makes them priceless. This isn't a polished coin. It's not shiny or flawless. Its beauty lies in its imperfection, in the story that time wrote across its surface. That warm brown layer, that antique tone, it's a reminder of an era when America was reinventing its currency, balancing between the past and the future. And yet, despite millions of 1966 quarters being produced, only a handful developed this distinct brown layer naturally. Experts call these coins living artifacts. Each brown-toned surface tells a story of the minting process itself, a rare window into how the first generation of copper-nickel quarters age differently. And the story doesn't end there. When these rare brown layer quarters began to surface in coin shows and auctions, collectors couldn't believe their eyes. People thought these tones were stains until grading experts verified their authenticity. And once that happened, the bidding wars exploded. Prices surged. Collectors fought fiercely for every authenticated specimen. And when one 1966 Washington quarter, without a mint mark, brown-layered and in fine condition, hit the market, it sent shockwaves through the community. That single coin sold for a staggering $165,000. Let that sink in. A coin worth 25 cents in 1966, now commanding over $165,000 in today's market. And here's the truth: its value continues to climb every single year. Because the more collectors learn about these brown layer anomalies, the rarer they become. Their beauty isn't just in their color, it's in their story. They are living witnesses to one of the greatest shifts in United States coin history. Think about it. This coin was minted at a time when America was dreaming of progress, rockets in the sky, televisions glowing in every home, the world changing faster than ever before. And while history unfolded, this little quarter quietly survived, carrying the fingerprint of that era right on its surface. That brown tone, it's more than metal, it's memory. And today, collectors don't just chase this coin for its rarity, they chase it for what it represents: the bridge between two ages, silver's farewell, and modern minting's dawn. So here's your collector's tip. If you ever find a 1966 quarter that looks just a little different, darker, warmer in tone, or layered with brown hues, don't overlook it. Handle it carefully. Get it graded by a professional. Because you might just be holding the next $165,000 treasure, one that's not just valuable, but historically priceless. And that's what makes this hobby so magical. Every coin is a story waiting to be told. Every detail hides a mystery waiting to be uncovered. And every collector just like you is part of that grand adventure. This is the legacy of the 1966 brown layer Washington quarter, a coin that began as an experiment, survived as an error, and rose as a legend. Remember, our channel Secret of U.S. Coins is updated freshly every day, revealing the rarest, most valuable, and most shocking discoveries in the world of American currency. So keep watching, because the next coin we are about to uncover will make even this one look ordinary. The story gets deeper, the treasures get greater, and the next legend might just be hiding in your pocket. Coin number 9. Sometimes history doesn't whisper. It hides in silence, in metal, in the smallest, most ordinary things. And sometimes that hidden silence turns out to be worth a fortune. This is the story of the 1971 Washington quarter without a mint mark, a coin that looks ordinary to everyone else until you look closer. Because when you do, you will see it. A faint, deep brown tone running across its surface, a mark of age, mystery, and power. And what you're looking at is no ordinary quarter. Soft metallic chime echoes. The coin turns under the light, its brown hue shimmering like old copper. The year was 1971. America was moving fast. Color television was everywhere. The space race was winding down. And the mint was adjusting to its new era of copper-nickel coinage. The silver era was gone, but something fascinating was just beginning. You see, in 1971, the Philadelphia Mint, the mint without a mark, produced millions of Washington quarters. But among them, a very small number came out different. Their surface developed a rich brown hue, a tone that experts would later call one of the most mysterious patinas in modern coinage. At first, no one noticed. People spent them. They clinked in cash registers, passed through hands, disappeared into drawers. But decades later, when collectors began inspecting every detail of America's minting past, they found something extraordinary. These brown-toned 1971 quarters weren't the result of dirt, corrosion, or neglect. They were the product of a rare metallurgical reaction between the coin's copper core and its outer nickel layer, a subtle, natural transformation that occurred only under specific conditions. It was as if time itself had painted the coin. And because of that, no two brown layer quarters look alike. Each one carries a unique fingerprint, an unrepeatable pattern written by the elements, sealed by history. Collectors began calling them the bronze ghosts of 1971. Because while they were technically modern coins, they looked ancient, as if they had lived through centuries instead of decades. And in the world of numismatics, that kind of character, that kind of uniqueness creates obsession. This coin, the 1971 Washington quarter, without mint mark, is more than metal. It's a symbol of the post-silver generation, the first wave of pure copper-nickel artistry. It represents resilience, transition, and the silent stories of every coin that ever passed through an American hand. But here's the twist. Most of these coins were lost. Spent, scratched, cleaned, or melted. Only a handful survived in fine condition, their details sharp, their mysterious brown layer untouched by time. And those few survivors? They are now treasured beyond imagination. When one of these ultra-rare 1971 brown-toned quarters surfaced in a major U.S. auction, experts were stunned. The bids started small and then skyrocketed. And when the final hammer fell, the crowd was speechless. That coin, a 1971 Washington quarter without mint mark, brown-toned and preserved in fine condition, sold for a jaw-dropping $148,000. Yes, $148,000 for a coin most people would have mistaken for pocket change. And this isn't a story from the past, it's happening now. Collectors are hunting for these coins across America, paying record-breaking prices to own one of the few surviving pieces. Because every day, their value is climbing, their demand is rising, and their story is deepening. This isn't just a coin, it's a hidden fortune, a piece of American legacy, a treasure in plain sight. Experts predict that as awareness grows, the 1971 brown-toned quarter could easily break the $200,000 barrier in the near future. Because rarity isn't about metal, it's about story, survival, and soul. And this coin has all three. Think about it. This quarter might have been sitting unnoticed in someone's old coffee can for decades. It might have passed through countless hands, buying a newspaper, a meal, or a memory, never knowing it carried a small piece of treasure in its core. And now, after 50 years, it stands as one of the most sought-after modern rarities in the United States. Coinage. That's the magic of collecting, the magic of paying attention, the magic of believing that even the smallest thing can hold extraordinary value. So here is your collector's tip. If you ever come across a 1971 Washington quarter that looks different, maybe warmer, maybe brownish, maybe aged just right, don't ignore it. Handle it carefully. Protect it. Because you might just be holding a piece of American minting history worth $148,000 or more. And that, my friends, concludes today's journey through the most valuable Washington quarters ever discovered. Coins that remind us that even the smallest things can carry the greatest stories. Every scratch, every tone, every missing mint mark, they all tell a tale of time, luck, and legacy. And remember, here on Secret of U.S. Coins, we bring you freshly updated discoveries every single day. From hidden treasures to million-dollar mysteries, our passion is uncovering America's hidden wealth, one coin at a time. So stay tuned, subscribe, and never stop looking. Because the next time you open your hand, you might just find a fortune disguised as a quarter.